Hello, shalom, aloha. I'm here for the full moon activation, and I just want to say, for those of you who have never checked out these activations before, they actually don't have anything to do with the actual moon, okay? So yes, it's called the full moon activation because I use the moon as a measure of time, because it's easy for us to all kind of keep track that way and meet under the same one moon. But the light of the moon, I consider to be the light behind all things. So this, again, doesn't have to do with the moon itself, just using the moon as a measure of time. And this is a tarot activation. So I use the tarot in a Kabbalistic sort of a way, where we get to the root of the situations and not so much focusing on the details. So this kind of helps us to simplify any and all situations and get to the root of what is happening so that we can most efficiently move through whatever experience we're experiencing individually and collectively. So I separated the minor arcanum from the major arcanum, just as I've been doing for the last couple of readings for those of you who've been following. This is the third out of 4 activations for this monthly cycle. So it's the full moon, it's full moon in Libra. The full moon activation is always about seeing the fullness of what has been unfolding this month and kind of coming to the final realizations about all the lessons we've been experiencing so that we can begin to actually integrate everything we've been learning and do something with the information, actualize it. So this is the stepping into the second half of this monthly cycle. I am feeling very called to keep this reading simple, so I'm going to follow that guidance. It's good to see you guys here, my people. Okay, so I'm shuffling the major arcanum now. While I'm shuffling, go ahead and just set aside any thoughts or feelings you've been carrying with you today, maybe this week, maybe this whole month. Whatever it is, just let it go for a moment. Put it down for this moment and create as much space as possible for the most wisdom to come in. I find that the best way to open up that space is to tune into the infinite space of the heart. If you can let everything go and just sit in that space, in your mind's eye, be in your heart, then there's an infinite amount of space for whatever needs to come through to do so. So go ahead and do that. Just meet me in the infinite space of the heart place. And then when you're there, go ahead and somehow, using your imagination, connect to the deck. You can see yourself sitting with these actual cards. You can see a thread of light coming from your hands to this deck, or from your third eye to this deck, or however you want to do it. Just make a connection to the deck so that we can interweave our energies. And so I'm going to keep it simple tonight. I have the major arcanum in my hand. These are the most important cards of the deck. These are the ones that hold the most power, and the others are just elaborations on these more important ones. So out of the major arcanum, or major secrets, I'm going to reveal now the one that is summing up the experience of this monthly cycle. The one that will show us the challenge behind everything that's been presenting itself again and again as a potential opportunity for us to heal something within the collective psyche. What is it? What's the one for this month? The one that's highlighted is the Veiled Isis, or High Priestess. I was seeing this card and all of her associated symbols all day in my mind's eye. Very present. She's very present. And this is all about looking within the darkness of the subconscious and the waters of the ocean of emotion that lives within. So this card has been coming up a lot, including our collective activations. And we saw how during this cycle, at the beginning of this cycle, there was a need to look within, to self-reflect, to really get clear with what is going on inside, so that when we do begin to make choices and make things happen in our lives, it's done with clarity. It's done with confidence. Well, we're still there, and this is the theme for this month. It hasn't been a time to act yet. It's been a time of really sitting there and being with whatever's inside. And it's funny, right? Because we've all been told that we have to actually stay inside. And so that's kind of funny, isn't it? That right now, the collective archetypal energies afoot are assisting us in making the most of this experience of so-called isolation or social distancing, whatever you want to call it. We're being supported, as always, in the best, highest way to make the most of what is going on, not only outside of us, but also inside of us. It's not because someone is making us sit in our houses. Maybe we could just look at that differently and see how, well, this is what the situation is, and so I must do what I always do. Look with positivity and find the silver lining and find those opportunities to grow as best as possible right here, right now, under these present circumstances. And so it's interesting to see that the archetypes are telling us right now, this is the challenge before you. In our material world, when we open our eyes, we're like, oh yeah, of course, this is the current challenge. We can't go anywhere. We have to stay inside. Well, the archetypes are telling us that this is also happening in the unseen realm on a much deeper level. The roots of the reality we even see forming outside of us, that's where this is really coming from. We're being given the opportunity in the spiritual realm to go inside. In every dimension, on all levels, we are being given this gift of an opportunity to look more deeply than ever before at what is going on in there. So how can we best navigate the High Priestess or Veiled Isis and all that's manifesting of that theme? So not only how can we handle going into the waters of the subconscious, how can we get a hold on our innermost thoughts? How can we shine a light on what we've been hiding from ourselves out of cognitive dissonance? It's also, how can we handle the situation of so-called isolation right now? How can we handle going within in all dimensions, including this material one? What's the best way that we can respond? Three of Cups. Now this is interesting. So we have a 2, High Priestess, and a 3 of Cups. And it's funny because we're like, okay, well, how can we best go within? And here's a card of celebration and togetherness. And right away, what I see here, first of all, I'll say this is the 3 of Cups, so it's the suit of emotions. It has to do with the heart, feelings, human connection, and relationship. And it's the 3, so it's about togetherness and action, gathering, doing, celebrating. And it's like, so how can we best go within? It's kind of like ironic. Well, we're supposed to be doing the opposite of that. We're not supposed to be cheersing our cups. We're supposed to be staying away from each other right now. A lot comes up when I see this card. What are we supposed to be doing? How can we best go within? We can look at this card for inspiration in this way. We can see how, first of all, I can rest assured that this is not forever, and we will again come to a time when we can converge and we can celebrate and we can be near and close. That will come again. This is not forever, first of all, right? We can tell ourselves that, and when we can really hear it, not just say it to ourselves, but really hear it and receive it, then that eliminates all of the anxiety and worry about, oh my God, will I ever see so-and-so again? Or is this how it's going to be forever? Right away, we can take back all of our thought power, all of our energy, and our literal life force energy, call that back in, instead of wasting it on all of this silly worry and concern that we're never to be again together. This is not true. What's deeper is that we are always together. We are never apart. So when you go within to yourself, when you go inside yourself, everything is in there. Everyone is in there, because in your heart is that space where we all connect. So if you can hang on to those feelings that are in your heart that you've cultivated through all of your celebrations with others and your connections with others, then it's all in there for you to rest right now, to rest assured that it's not going anywhere. We're all here. We're all doing the same work. The time will come again for us to be together and celebrate. But if we want to come out and eventually reach this point of celebrating together and cheersing our cups, how can we make the most of what's happening right now to get to that point in the best way? Like when we come out and celebrate, we want to make sure that we are our highest selves, that we've done as much work as possible so that we can show up as best as possible, be as present as possible for those people that we love and those people that we are missing right now so dearly. We will only be able to come out of this our strongest and our best, cheersing our cups like in this image, if we do the work that we need, each of us individually, to be whole, to be our best selves. Then we'll really have something to cheers about when we come out of this. The darker side of this card looks like hanging around people or collaborating with people for reasons not for the highest good. You may as well be cheersing poison in those cups. And so it's saying the best way to go within right now and do what needs to be done is to think about all those people you miss and those people that you love, and think of how you're doing this for them. Instead of using all that's happening to us to defeat ourselves, to allow this self-defeat to take place, instead of just sitting there and being upset about everything we can't do right now, why don't we think about how this experience of taking space is actually contributing to a more whole coming together when we do? Use all of these people that you love and miss as inspiration to do what you need to do right now, which is to stay home. Take the space, do your part, but not just stay home, like stay home and stay present, because staying home is a metaphor. Like what's going on energetically there when we're staying in? Can we look at that differently? This feels really clear, like it's coming in very clearly. It's like we're being asked to look at staying in a new way. We're being asked to stay in for as long as possible until the job is done. And I'm not talking about until some virus is wiped off of the earth. I'm talking about something much closer to you that's inside. I'm talking about staying in, calling in your presence and holding it in your body to be present with every little thing that's happening so that we can be as comfortable and clear and authentic with ourselves and with the world, so that no virus, no disease, no imbalance could possibly exist in here. If each of us did that, how would that affect us collectively? How would that affect us globally if we all stayed inside until the work was done, until things were cleared, until we found balance? Because balance is life. Balance is healing. Balance is coming into the wholeness that you divinely are. In all moments, you are whole. However diseased or sick you feel on the outside, you have the ability to get back to that space, that place. And if it meant having to leave this body to get there, then that's what it would mean. Like I was telling my own children, your body and your whole being are in the hands of the Creator. So whatever it takes to get to that space of wholeness, know that you will always get there. You will always reach that space again. It's just a matter of when. So know your wholeness here now. know it, be with it, appreciate that wholeness that you are. Build on that gratitude and stay there. Stay with that, because nothing else is as important as this knowing that you are whole and one with all of life. And you will come to the best possible place you can if you just repeat this, if you just hold on to this knowing that you are whole and healed and perfect right here, right now. If you just hold on to that, you will be carried to exactly where it is you need to be. So I feel that's what we're being asked to do right now, to stay inside until the work is done, until we come to a place of balance. And you can see this veiled Isis or high priestess is in the center. She's got the equal cross, so all sides are equal. It's a sign of balance. Then she's got the pillars with the tapestry in the center connecting them with signs of fertility. There's a lot about balance here. She's the number two of the entire deck, the major arcanum 2. She is all about balance. She is the masculine and feminine balance within the feminine of the subconscious. She is the embodiment of a balance within. Not yet in manifestation. That would be coming to the 3, or the unveiled Isis, or the Empress. She is before that. She is the one that is inside, but in balance, in perfect balance. So we're being called to stay in so that we, like her, can find that balance before we emerge back out there. So that we can be absolutely sure that when we do emerge out into there, wherever that is, that we're going to be doing so from the best, most balanced state possible. Once we come out of this, we are going to come out feeling confident that we did our best to stay inside for as long as we needed to come to that place of ease and peace and healing and wholeness and balance. Because if we stay inside until we come to that space of balance, then when we emerge, there will be no room for disease to come into us. So look at this whole message to stay in as something deeper. See this physical life as a metaphor for what is really going on behind the scenes. We are being called to stay inside until we find the balance, so that when we do emerge, we can really raise our glasses to something that is worth it. We'll feel really genuinely proud in the purest, highest way, and we'll really have something to celebrate. This will be a celebration for a victory that will truly be sustainable and supported by the divine. So I suppose that's what we're being called to do, you guys. In order to do our best to stay in right now, to find that balance, we can find motivation by picturing how proud we will feel when we come out of this, and how good it's going to feel to be together again. And how we'll really be celebrating life from a place where we feel good in our responsibility of being a righteous being a good person. We will feel our best if we do what we need to do right now. Stay in, stay in. Do what you need to do. And remember, it's all for the people that you love. It's for yourself because you love you, I hope. And it's for the people that you're missing right now, that you want to be around. It's for them. It's for everyone. Just think of how grateful we'll all be after this. And may that be not only motivation enough to do what you need to do right now, which is stay in. May it also be inspiration enough. May you feel not only that you're excited for what's to come after, but that you'll feel like you did your best, like I was inspired to do the right thing and become the best person I could be, really self-reflect while I'm in this special place of solitude and quietness. And I was able to really do the work, and I took full advantage of that opportunity. So now I really have something to celebrate about. We don't want to come out of here and just go back to the way things have been, right? That's what everybody's been saying. We don't want things to just go back to normal. We want to really take this as a lesson and make a change. So that's another thing I see in this card showing up. That soon we'll be able to really say, hey, we did this, we survived this, and we got this together. We'll do what's right for the one together. We're going to celebrate a truly new beginning, a new world that we are all co-creating out of doing what needs to be done by first staying in and looking at all that needs to be taken care of, not jumping the gun, not rushing ahead to the unveiled Isis or Empress. We're not rushing into making the new world. The time will come for action and emerging, but right now we are still in the chrysalis. So we may as well reel in any energy we've been wasting on prematurely trying to take action. No, reel it back in. And with all of your power, say, okay, I'm going to really sit here and make sure that I carefully look within so I don't leave something out, so that I do all that I can, so that when I come out of this, my friends and I can truly cheers to a better life for one and all. So stay in till you find your balance. You can use this card as inspiration, the High Priestess, or the Veiled Isis. If you look that up, you'll find other images. You can use this as inspiration. You can put it on your altar. You can research this card and see what symbols, messages you're attracted to, and then see if those resonate with you. Write them down, put them on your altar, whatever you do. But now is the time to really heed her advice. She is within all of us. And stay in until you find that balance. And when you do, we'll all be able to come out celebrating our newfound balance and wholeness. Really, truly something to celebrate about. All right, guys, so enjoy the light of the full moon, which is the light behind all things, including the light inside of yourself. Enjoy that. Easter's coming. So speaking of the light, Easter's coming. Passover is also coming. And yeah, I'm excited to do my rituals. I'm excited to see and hear about all of your rituals. And I'm going to continue to share a lot about Passover specifically, as I have the past few years. So stay tuned for that. And I trust that you all are having an amazing time, however difficult it may be at points, with this process of diving deep into yourself. However uncomfortable it may be, I know that you have the strength that it takes to get through whatever challenges arise in this time. And for those moments where you might lose it and feel like you just want to give up, just know I'll be over here knowing for you and for us and for the one that you do have everything it takes to not only get through this, but to rise higher than ever before. Just like the message of Easter and Pesach, Passover, liberation, freedom, exaltation. The light in you is rising. Don't give up. Especially when it gets uncomfortable, be excited that you're being given the opportunity, the material to alchemize what was into what it can so beautifully be. I'll see you guys next week to close up this cycle. Shalom.